city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's out to Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
That Dre season is here. A real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz. And I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game. I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers. I'm knocking my own flame. I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and we have a great show for you guys today. Want to definitely send a warm welcome to you on this thorough Thursday, I'm deeming it. You know, we want to be thorough here every single day at the Morning Update Show and here at Converge. And I'm really grateful because we have a great show, as always, lined up for you guys. So we'll get right into it because we get to bring on Jessie later in the show. We also got Quise. You guys have been seeing him in this hereforuswa.org commercial. So he's going to be telling us a little bit about his experience with the vaccine and some of his hesitancy. So we'll be diving into that discussion as well. Of course, you guys know right now is a perfect time for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead, tag and share the stream with people that you feel could benefit from culturally relevant news emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Got to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and over at KBCS 91.3 at Bellevue College. Also, right now, Salman has put in the link in the comments, but you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network. He's putting SoundCloud there, but we're on Google, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you find podcasts. Just look up Converge Media Network. Also, you guys, as you guys know, We'll be diving into this later on with Quise, but we also have been telling you guys about this campaign for Department of Health, the hereforuswa.org. Again, so I'm going to put the link in the comments there, but you guys can check out hereforuswa.org. Get some culturally relevant communication around COVID-19, all things COVID. I mean, if you're talking about vaccine, boosters, testing sites, if you are still hesitant out there and have some questions you need answered, please know that this is a great resource. And shout out to everybody who was involved on this campaign. I love being able to uplift this because anytime we can really uplift the fact that we have some amazing producers and content creators here in our Black community, they tapped in to those folks, into that creative community, and made some real culturally relevant communication. So check out hereforuswa.org if you are still trying to get some information around COVID-19. As we see, a lot of things are changing. It looks like it's up to individual businesses. I'm seeing in some engagements they are still saying, please wear your masks. And it really does depend on the venue or depend on the restaurant and the space. I'm seeing that some folks still have their signs up there. So again, as we kind of make this transition, we're not out of the woods just yet. Obviously, there's still some cases out there. And, it's great for us to be informed and engaged in this because it's affecting all of us. None of us have been able to just be in our homes this entire time and not at all be affected by COVID. So, check it out, hereforuswa.org. Also, we got an amazing funding source right here. So I'm going to be popping this up, but For Culture is being very intentional about their funding. Once again, they are doing project grants right now for 2022. You guys can apply if you are doing projects around arts, heritage, or preservation. Again, so I'm going to put the link there in the comments, making it easy for you guys to find these resources. If you know of people that are doing projects in those areas, or you yourself are wanting to do some projects in those areas, go ahead and check it out. And one thing I will say that I really appreciate about For Culture, again, in their approach to funding and to disseminating funding, is that you can be even just starting out and they will, you do qualify. They will give you that opportunity to say, look, I don't have a pedigree of this work, but I realize in the time we're in, I have a certain perspective that I want to put out there in the world with regard to arts preservation or heritage. And hey, you do qualify. So I just want to encourage some of our younger or newer artists out there. If it's a newfound passion of yours, feel free to apply, because one of the things that oftentimes the larger projects or larger funding sources, they want you to have a history of the work that you've done in that area. But For Culture is offering this opportunity, even if you are new. And as we were just talking about with COVID, we see that there's a lot of ways that it's been infused in art for people to really tell the sign of the times we're in right now, which is so unique, all of us dealing with this pandemic globally. So I just encourage you, if you're a new artist, go ahead and check out For Culture so you guys can see, how to get your artwork out there and get it funded. Also, other funding that's hitting the ground is through Seattle College's foundation. The average amount of scholarships that they are providing right now is around $4,000. And I love the fact that it says, yes, you can buy food for our notes here, but it's really because we want people to understand this funding source is for any scholar who's attending any of the Seattle colleges, North, Central, or South Seattle College. You guys do have the opportunity to apply for this fund right here and pay for living expenses. A lot of scholarships have I won't say barriers, but they have parameters in terms of how you can use the funding. And this funding source right here is very different. It's open, so you can buy groceries, you can pay rent. And honestly, you guys, it's one of those things that I wish was there when I was coming up. I mean, I feel like a lot of stuff that I had to do in that regard was loans. It wasn't necessarily scholarships that were just paying for my living expenses. So check that source out, you guys, and make sure that any scholars who are either entering or already in Seattle colleges, that they know about this opportunity, because it's a great way to make sure that, hey, our scholars are being taken care of. So check that out. So I'm gonna put that link right there in the comments as well. Again, making all of this really easy for you guys to access. Well, we do have a couple of stories here, so I'm going to kind of get into this because you guys, it's a great time when we get to celebrate our athletes here locally that have made it nationally and internationally known in terms of their brand. And Jamal Crawford, our guy, Jamal Crawford, has announced his retirement. And so the factors, they talked a little bit about this. Let's go ahead and hear their perspective.
Speaking of Mall C, we want to send love to Mall C and say congratulations to you on a great, lengthy career. It was about 20 years in the league. The big dub, man. You came in early, man, fresh out Rainier Beach, man. Went to Michigan. I tell people, man, I know the real reason why you got to the league, and people don't even know it. You be trying to be humble, but I know you gave this man buckets at Duke.
Duke. It was Jason Williams.
Was he there yet, or am I early?
What? No, that was when.
Go ahead.
That was when he played against Duke. He dropped 27. I think he scored like 20 something in the first half, and then he got hurt. I mean, he went to the league off that. Like, yeah. It was like, okay, he's torching them.
Yeah, no, one of the coldest since he came in the league, man. I just want to show you love and give you your flowers. Always have, but even in this moment, because you've been not only a great basketball player, but a person off the court, it's unmatched, bro. You help people out. You know, you give advice. All these camps, you see a kid, you give them the shoes off your feet, clothes off your back. Always asking them, anybody need anything? And it's thorough. It's not just because I'm saying it or asking you. It's really thorough, and you follow through with things more. I just want to say thank you for being one of the few who represent Seattle and then are still someone around the community who's looked up to, and also you can reach out and talk to. That's not too far without reach, but he's a superstar. So I know you're with Hall of Fame. I'm in the comments in the NBA section and all the different platforms, and it's just Hall of Fame around the board. A lot of people are putting you there, even people who are your peers and people who are still playing. So shout out to you, JC, man. You know, the crossover is going to continue. Man, you're a legendary dude, man. You're legendary to them. You're legendary to us, man. You already know.
Nah, yeah, he's on the scoring list. He's on the 3 points made list. He holds the record for 4-point plays. He holds the record for something else I can't remember right now. But Mall C did a whole bunch of things. And like you said, an even better person. Never acted funny. Like, there was one time I was in the mall, and somebody tapped me on my shoulder, and I'm like, man, who the hell is that? I turn around, it's Mall. He's like, what's good, twin? I'm like, what's good, Mall? You know, but that just goes to, you know, say, you know, he's just a normal human being, even though he's in a position to make millions and be on TV and be a star and, you know, ball out, you know, in front of millions of people. He's still humble and shows love. He was one of the first basketball players doing give backs and haircuts and supplies for kids to go to school. You know, like a lot of people follow suit because Maul was doing it first. So, and even though we lost to Sonics, he kept basketball here with the Pro-Am. Like bringing ballers up here, KD, Kobe Bryant, Kyrie, so many
Matt
people
Barnes, there's a lot of people that came through here. Stack Jack came through. A lot of people. We got to meet a lot of people because Jamal come back to the town and he shines light in the town, and we love you for that. And once again, man, enjoy retirement. We always give you your flowers. You're getting them now, man. We're going to see you later. I hit you. We talked to it. It's on Twitter, so you go look on Twitter. We already talked about this, man. We're going to get you out your shell, man. Enjoy this retirement. Have a good time. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I just love this so much. And, you know, shout out to you, Jamal Crawford. I mean, everything that the twins said there, I agree with wholeheartedly. When we talk about our, you know, our professional athletes being accessible, sometimes we have those barriers there, but you are not one of those folks. You really have been accessible to us in community, always doing things that are, you know, benefiting others. We appreciate that. And of course, you know, what a shining light you've brought with the program and crossover tournaments and everything that you have done, these camps for young athletes. It's so important to always pay it forward. And I really appreciate the fact that we get to feel that love that you have for community all the time, because you are consistent in that work. It's been amazing to be able to work with you on some things in community. And so I agree with these guys, and the twins just hit the nail on the head there, because honestly, it is important for us to big up our people. And, you know, you have done a great job in the NBA. shout out to you for being able to, do a retirement, out of the NBA. You really had a illustrious career, and it's such a shining example. And I'll tell you this much, my son, who is 16, playing ball at Federal Way High, definitely looks up to our local athletes, and you are one of them. So we just appreciate everything you do. We appreciate your legacy and the way that you show up in community. So shout out to the twins for giving you your flowers now, and I'm glad that I could contribute to that as well. We big up you, JC, as they said. After this break, you guys, I get to dive in with my girl, Julia Jessie. We're going to be talking about all things Ketanji and all things clapback right after this short break. You're watching the Morning Update Show. Hey there, it's Trey Holiday. And of course, Besa and I had to take a trip back to Market Street Shoes to grab some items. They always know what to show us. And let me tell you, we both spent quality time to be sure we collected some amazing additions to our wardrobes. They have some of the most unique bags, shoes, and accessories. I mean, the whole shebang. It's always a good time when I get to shop with my girl Besa. Make sure you go check out Market Street Shoes, y'all, and you too can walk out with some dope gear.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Trey Holiday. I'm right here at the Paramount Theater. You know what else is coming here? Alvin Ailey. You guys can go ahead and go to stgpresents.org to get your tickets or Ticketmaster.com. They're going to be here on the 26th and 27th of this month. And let me tell you, they're going to be rocking the house out. It's an amazing family-friendly show. So bring your loved ones, bring your family, bring your neighbors. Tell everybody. Alvin Ailey's only here for 2 days. Let's show up and show out Seattle so that they know that we love them here. Get your tickets today. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and I get to bring my girl, Julia Jessie, on with me right now. What's up, Jules?
Hey, what's going on? It's Thursday, baby girl.
Yes, it is definitely, and we're making it a thorough Thursday. You know, when we got you on, we got to get thorough, girl. We got to get real thorough. And you know what? This week we didn't get to hear from Mike Davis, so we definitely are going to be talking about all things clapback with you. Yeah, but I mean, I got to start off with Ketanji. I think we actually have a clip, and then we're going to talk about it after.
Can't wait.
Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court confirmation hearing wraps up later today. Tensions and emotions ran high yesterday when Jackson faced some of the toughest questions yet from Republican senators who did a lot of the talking.
So you're not going to answer my question?
No, I've answered your question in my answer.
You haven't answered my question. I'm sitting here asking you, and you're declining to answer.
Good. Good.
I understand.
Absolutely
Senator,
good. I hope you are.
To do
good.
Allow her to finish, please.
In that chart.
Okay, Judge, you said that before. These are the 8 or 9 child porn cases. I will say, to correct the record,
I just say to the judge, there's no point in responding. He's going to interrupt you.
Thank you.
Look,
Nicole Killian is in the hearing room on Capitol Hill. Nicole, I watched a lot of the hearings yesterday. It was very painful to watch a lot yesterday afternoon. What can you tell us about the plan for the final day?
Well, the plan today is that Judge Jackson won't be in the hot seat as a panel of experts testify after an emotional and exhaustive hearing with searing attacks on the first Black woman who is likely to be confirmed to the Supreme Court.
I love this country because I love the law.
Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson welled up on her final day of questioning.
the chairman refused to allow a witness to answer a question. You can bang it as loud as you want.
It was punctuated by several contentious exchanges, beginning with South Carolina's Lindsey Graham, who needled the judge over everything from whether she watched Justice Brett Kavanaugh's hearings.
He was ambushed. How would you feel if we did that to you?
To relentless questioning over her sentencing record in child exploitation cases.
Wait a minute, Judge. You think it is a bigger deterrent to take somebody who's on a computer looking at sexual images of children in the most disgusting way is to supervise their computer habits versus putting them in jail?
No, Senator, I didn't say versus.
That's exactly what you said.
To see the badgering of this woman as she's trying to testify, I thought was outrageous.
To people who felt your line of questioning was inappropriate, you say what?
That she would not answer my question.
It was a refrain echoed by other committee Republicans relitigating the same claims.
I'm sitting here asking you, and you're declining to answer.
I've explained how the guidelines work. Judges all over the country are grappling with how to apply this guideline. Do you have other questions for me?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Senators on both sides of the aisle tried to turn down the dial.
I'm going to try and spread some aloha into this room.
I think we should recognize that the jackassery we often see around here is partly because of people mugging for short-term camera opportunities.
But it was New Jersey's Cory Booker who delivered this closing argument.
And you did not get there because of some left-wing agenda? You got here how every black woman in America who's gotten anywhere has done. You have earned this spot. You are worthy. You are a great American.
Oh, girl.
I'm telling you, like, this is exactly why, Jules, I can only report in this way. Because sitting there watching it, it's like they're just trying to drum up all the emotion. Man, Jules, tell us your perspective on this.
You guys, I'm so highly emotional just like watching these clips, because when you think about Senator Cory Booker and just what it takes for a black woman to sit in that seat. Ketanji Brown Jackson is so much more than just being a black woman, but to have her representing our ancestors and still being berated is like, it's so blatantly disrespectful, and quite frankly, it's quite dangerous. And Senator Cory Booker said something, and I think everyone should go and watch it. It's like a 20-minute clip of him saying, you know what, Judge Jackson, just sit back because I don't have any questions for you. He just poured into her, and that's why she got emotional. He poured into her and wanted to tell her, like, not only have you worked hard to be here, but you are worthy and you deserve this confirmation. And to watch individuals like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz continue to berate her and throw tantrums and discredit all of the work that she's put in. I mean, she has a wealth, a history that is so bipartisan. And, you know, they're trying to make this allegation that she's soft on crime. And it's not true. It's just not true. And I think for me, Trey, especially kind of understanding this, it speaks to how important bipartisanship is, because if we can't agree and have a sense of unity that this is absolutely one of the best people, woman, black woman, whatever, that this is one of the best people to nominate and confirm to be a Supreme Court justice on both sides of the aisle, and that we're picking apart her case, her sentencing, that she's somehow soft on crime when she continuously refers to sentencing people within the government guidelines, that she has to somehow justify her philosophy on how she chooses to judge cases. I mean, they had nothing and continued to tear her apart. And I honestly watched so much of it, but I just love Senator Cory Booker for taking the time to really celebrate his Black boy joy and saying, like, this is a win for the ancestors, and I'm not gonna let nobody tear you down, sis. So sit back and know that you're worthy and that you deserve this.
Yeah, now that's the clip, of course, that I know has gone viral. I was able to see a bit of that clip of him talking about, his mother, and seeing, his mother being represented basically now at the Supreme Court level. And I'll be honest here, Jules, if we look at data, right? I mean, this is really a serious topic here, and I just appreciate your candor today with our audience, because it's not easy to watch that stuff. It is a lot of berating. It is unnecessary. We know this, but we also can expect this, and that's really the part of our country that gets me to say that the unfortunate truth is that we knew that there were going to be some Republican senators, white men in particular, that were going to come for her like this. And so the idea is that we're not surprised by their behavior and their tactics, but it's unfortunate that we already knew it was going to come to pass. One other thing I really want to mention here is that when we talk about soft on crime, you hear communities all over the country talking about caring for the whole person. How do we eliminate the rise of crime? Because we have criminalized everything. When we understand that prisons do not rehabilitate, those who are incarcerated, we're learning so much more here about the efforts of, those who've been incarcerated doing that work themselves, creating rehabilitation programs inside of prisons right here in Washington State that have now sprang across the state. But it was inmates themselves. It was those who were incarcerated. I don't even like to call them inmates. It was those who were incarcerated that did that work, because they understood, man, if I'm going to be better, if I'm going to get away from some of my behaviors that got me here, I need to do that work, because the system is not going to do it for me. So the idea is that we can actually have somebody at the Supreme Court level who understands maybe some of that. Like you said, her record indicates a real understanding of bipartisanship. But I also think it's important that we move away from the criminalization that we have here in this country. We are the #1 country in the world when it comes to our prisons, and it's not making us any better, Jules.
Girl, listen, I don't even know if you want to get me started on this. So if you guys watch Clapback Culture, you guys know that my husband is incarcerated and has been incarcerated for the last 5 years. So I am a product of this system, and I understand it very well. And it has penetrated my family all the way to the full extent. So I understand mandatory minimums. I understand, sentencing guidelines because I experienced it, one-on-one. I think when we think about a judge like the Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson, whose mother gave her an African name so that she could speak the blessings of her ancestors, what we know about her is that she left private practice to go and be a public defender because she wanted to see both sides. You don't choose to be a public defender because there's pay in that. You choose to do that because you're committed to the process and you're committed to understanding the system from both sides of the aisle. A person like Ketanji is not normal. She is so above average. And, I hate to put her on a pedestal because she went to Harvard Law School, because, I'm a product of an HBCU. And I think, even if you went to Howard Law School, you're just as good. But what I can say is, if we equate Harvard Law School as the top #1 school, the Ivy League schools, and she got that when everyone said she couldn't, you're thinking about somebody who has invested their entire life. She's a mother, okay? She's a mother who had to make a lot of decisions, and she continues to highlight how she thinks about that. Her brother is a police officer and a former military personnel. This is a family. She comes from a family that's dedicated to service, dedicated to serving the people, a dedicated and decorated American, right? And so when we have these conversations about our criminal justice system and rehabilitation, this is not somebody who's haphazardly doing things. And I'll have you know, she's not soft on crime. So this allegation that she's somehow, passing out these small sentences, and she's a really mainstream judge. When you look at all of her cases as a collection and as a whole, and it's like you said, Trey, when a judge sentences someone fairly, they take the full context of the individual. They should take the full context of the individual, the good, the bad, the ugly, the in between. And you make your judgment, you sentence them based on the collection of the information that you have. And that is the type of judge, that is the methodology that Ketanji Brown Jackson speaks to. And that's the type of judge that we absolutely need sitting in that Supreme Court seat. And I cannot wait to celebrate when she's confirmed.
You know what? I just love how you give even more context there about her history. And I agree with you 100% on this, Jules. I think we're all going to be able to celebrate again. As Omari points out, and I think it's a major point here, this really is an opportunity for those who, would kind of be more like a Ted Cruz or, a Lindsey Graham, that they can be like, you know what? This is not really contesting the power, at that level. So, this is a time that I get to just be like, hey, I'm with that. Go ahead, wonderful Black woman, do your thing, right? But I love that you really, set the tone here with regard to the history that she has and this level of service that her family's been giving. Honestly, I know we could talk about Ketanji all day long because really it's a beautiful story as a part of our history. And, lastly about this, I'll just say I appreciated that she said she is there because she loves the law. There's not a lot of Black people that love the law because we actually feel like we get the short end of the stick almost all the time. And so to have someone who has trained at that level at Harvard and also has brought herself into the public defender's office, this is saying a lot about her pedigree. Thank you so much, Jules, for diving into that with me. But I know you guys got other things you guys are going to be diving into tonight on Clapback. Tell us all about it.
So some other news, and our clapback definitely tonight is going to be on the Honorable Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. So please tune in because we want to dive deep in Ted Cruz and his whole allegations that she is in support of critical race theory. So we're definitely going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a gunman at a Hollywood Comedy Club that Mike Tyson was at, y'all. And basically there's an altercation with a fan, and he's trying to get the attention of Mike Tyson. And he ends up getting into conflict with someone in the room and pulls out and brandishes this weapon. It's a big deal. It's a scene. But one thing about the viral video is that your boy, Mike Tyson, stays calm and ends up hugging the gunman. So we're going to get into that. We're going to dive deep. And then we have some updates that we want to talk about in the Brittany Griner case. So as you know, she's detained in Russia. Has been detained allegedly since about February. We don't know exactly when she was taken into custody, but according to TASS, which is a news organization, the state news organization in Russia, we understand that they extended her detention until May 19th. Her family has been pretty quiet because, they're kind of just keeping everything to the chest. But we do know that advocates and lawmakers have expressed fear that Garner may be in physical danger and suffering some legal consequences as a pawn in the war with Ukraine. So there's a lot of loaded history with that. There is a representative that came out and said that Garner is in good condition, that her cellmates are individuals that speak English and they're helping her to navigate the process with the COs and things that are in there. She has access to books. She's communicating with the pretrial detention facility. So she is, she's in good hands, as you can be in custody of the law. So we're praying for Brittany Griner and her safe return to the United States. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight on Clapback Culture, 7 p.m.
Oh my gosh, you guys are always diving into some amazing topics, and really they're like hot topics that are happening. The thing is that, this is so true, and we see it in media all the time. There's never a shortage of topics. I'll tell you that. There's always things going on around here in our country, and particularly when we talk about this case of her being locked away in Russia. This is huge. This is really huge, because I keep seeing a bunch of different commentary about this. Obviously, once again, when we talk about disparities, if she was a white woman, right? The idea is that this would be major media news and everybody would be trying to figure out how to get her free, particularly for, this minor charge of marijuana. Like, it's unfortunate that, we're now experiencing this again. And I think, we talk about Black community, specifically dealing with, the fact that it's like, man, are we just hated around the world? I always love to see our joy and our love and our resilience, because ultimately it's really kept pressing us forward. So I know that I'll be sending her love and light as best I can, because, it does take a lot of energy to stay positive in that environment. And, literally, I think of Russia prisons, and I just think the worst case scenario, right? To be honest. And so thank you so much for that, Jules. And you know what? You guys have been breaching a lot of topics. And last week, I talked to you a bit about the metaverse. Now, I will say this. It has really sparked some discussions in my personal life around our connection to the digitization of our world. And there's so much to explore there. I'm so glad that you guys have been able to breach that topic over the last few weeks. I mean, at the end of the day, we see that there are still elements developing in that regard. But I just want to give you a shout out for really allowing me to kind of explore some of these ideas and get your perspective on it, Jules. So I really appreciate you and everything you do, sis.
Thank you. Well, I love the metaverse. Mike Davis says that he is not really excited about diving deep into the metaverse, but honestly, we're not going to have a choice. Like, we are in a new chapter of this digital age. And, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but COVID has definitely helped us to smoothly transition into the next steps of being a little bit more isolated and doing things virtually. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to get my good glasses, and I want to have all my outfits when I'm in the metaverse, so we can kick back and have, a happy hour in the metaverse, girl. So it should be an interesting time.
Oh, look at you embracing it fully. I don't know. I'm a little bit with Mike on this. I'm not really sure yet. Still kind of unsure. Jules, as always, man, it's been a pleasure. Make sure folks know where they can find you on Clapback tonight.
All right, y'all. Tonight, Clapback Culture on all Converge media platforms. Please pull up to the show, 7 p.m. tonight. If you're on the East Coast, 10 p.m. Can't wait to dive deep with you. See you soon.
Absolutely. As always, Jules, much pleasure over here in my world by having you on today. Thank you so much for everything. And hey, you guys, watch Clapback tonight. Thanks, Jules.
See you.
Oh my goodness. Always amazing topics with Jules and Mike. I'm telling you guys, it is very different from what we get to talk about here on the Morning Update Show. So I love being able to get the insight and the scoop about what they're going to be diving into tonight. You guys, up next, I get to dive in with Quise. He's going to be coming up here and telling us about his experience with COVID and hesitancy, and also his work on the HereForUsWA.org campaign. Stay tuned after this short break. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it could do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Trey Holiday. I'm right here at the Paramount Theater. You know what else is coming here? Alvin Ailey. You guys can go ahead and go to stgpresents.org to get your tickets or Ticketmaster.com. They're going to be here on the 26th and 27th of this month. And let me tell you, they're going to be rocking the house out. It's an amazing family-friendly show. So bring your loved ones, bring your family, bring your neighbors. Tell everybody. Alvin Ailey's only here for 2 days. Let's show up and show out, Seattle, so that they know that we love them here. Get your tickets today. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and joining me right now is Quise. He is now your famous Quise for the HereForUsWall.org campaign. Welcome so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking a little bit, but, obviously in the campaign, you talked about your hesitancy, and we understand that a lot of folks in our community are still hesitant. There's been a lot of information out there, but tell us about some of the parameters for your hesitancy.
So, like I was saying, when I did the commercial, I was hesitant because there was a lot of lack of information. And from what I was told, a vaccine can usually take anywhere between 3 to 6 years, and it just seemed like they came up with this overnight. So it left a lot of concern when I was before I had got it.
Yeah, and then you talk about like literally here, first off, I got to say blue and white. He came ready today, okay?
Coordinate.
You see that coordination. We didn't plan that. But also too, you said that some of the things that kind of broke the ideas for you was actually hearing specifically from medical professionals, right?
Yes. So during I had cut him for a while, and during COVID, I had to do what I had to do because the world stopped, my bills didn't stop. So, I was doing house cuts, and when I was cutting him, I always like to talk. In the barbershop, that's the place to wind down, get something off your chest, and just talk the talk. So I always talk, so I was like, hey, I won't say his name, but I was like, what do you feel? What is your thoughts about this vaccine? And he was just like, with the times that we're in now, things are able to be created a lot faster than before. And he was just like, if you care about yourself and your family, he was like, I suggest you get it. He said, it's not going to cure you from not getting it, but what it will do is if you do catch it, it will slow the process. Well, not slow the process down, but it will stop you from, dying. So I was just like, man, I'm hearing this on the news. I'm hearing this through experience. I'm hearing this through people talking about a lot of people have been passing away, from COVID. So I was just like, if this can help me stay on this earth just a little bit more longer to be able to sit there and take care of my kids, then I'm going to be all for it.
Yeah, I think, as a parent myself, I think when we talk about caring for our families, it's so key. And I know many people that are my peers and kind of in our age range, it was like, man, if you still have the opportunity to be around your grandparents, great-grandparents, like your elders, and just caring for them, right? Exactly. Because you don't want, it was like, okay, yes, you can still catch COVID, but we also saw that there were higher numbers of folks who were unvaccinated that were actually spreading COVID more. We saw that in the beginning. I think the numbers for me, it was such a numbers game because they kept kind of changing over time. Yeah. And it was like, it still is. Yeah. And it's like, well, how are they being able to make sure that these numbers are accurate day by day? That was my kind of question around it. But I think a lot of people also were like, man, it's about protecting our kids and protecting our elders. How much of the elder talk? Because if you're a barber, you're also probably cutting up some elders too. So how much of that was also a factor for you?
It played a lot because, again, my grandmother, she's still on this earth living and breathing. My grandfather had passed away, not because of COVID during 2020, but, he had dementia. But, like I said, I wanted to be able to get back to my grandma again, be around her, my aunties, they're much older as well. And, so I was just like, okay, if this is going to help me be able to start getting those hugs again, being around my family, cooking, just like my family's from New Orleans. So it's always a good time. And, that's what I wanted to do. And then, like I said, like you were saying with me being in the barbershop, I do have a few elderly clients, you know, and, you know, like I said, just because the world stopped and we're put in a situation like we are, you know, I have to adjust to it, you know, and I didn't get it just because of that. But like I said, again, it goes back to my family, but, you know, I got to take care of their well-being as well while they're sitting in my chair.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, so much of it. And so then obviously, like you say in the commercial, you eventually got vaccinated. And, you know, things have really progressed and changed so much since probably then. But I want to ask you about your experience in the campaign, like, you know, them being able to reach out to you. How did that process work? And how did they find you for you to be able to share your story?
Because I'm that guy. No, just like, so what it is my homegirl, Stephanie, you know, I met her. It was funny how I met her, actually. I met her through my boy T Money. He's a videographer. I was cutting his hair. He helped me shoot like a lot of my videos for my shop. And one time I had to do a house cut during COVID. And, you know, I met Stephanie. She's the dopest person on this earth, man. Her spirit is like huge, you know. Every time she comes in the shop, it's nothing but love. So I started cutting her hair. And then I want to say it was like a few months ago. She comes in my chair. I was like, hey, Quise, you know, she works for the city of Washington. And she was just like, you know, I have an opportunity for you. And she was like, you know, it's to do a commercial. She was like, you know, you as a Black business owner, she was like, I would like to see you on there. I was like, you know, set it up. You know, anything. I'm always about anything to be a part of the community. And of course, you know, I like being on camera.
Well, that played well.
Yes,
your commercial's been airing here on the Morning Update show and on Converge Media for a while now. So now your face is definitely getting known.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of love.
You know, but it's also your story. And I think it's so important. I love that Stephanie did say something to you about the opportunity because, you know, barbershops are cultural hubs, man. I mean, we're talking about salons and barbershops, and we understand this not because of the barbershop movie series, even though it's spotlighted it, but just decades of culture building for Black men in particular. Tell us about why you said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to really give my love as a barber. Like, this is something that I want to do with my life. Tell us a little bit about that background for you that got you to that point.
Me becoming a barber.
Yeah.
So, man, I think I was like 14, 15. I was a freshman in high school. Junior high back then. You know, my mom was a single woman, parent, She was like, you know, you going to the barbershop every week, you know, it was costing me a lot of money. You know, I had a full beard. I didn't have a beard like this, but I had a chin strap. And she was like, here. She went and bought me some clippers. It was like, figure it out. You know, and then my pops, I do remember him. He would always touch himself up in the mirror at times. I sit there and watch him sometimes, and I got some little pointers from him. And, you know, I just paid attention to what the barbershops were, you know, about. You know, I grew up in there sweeping floors and stuff. My aunt, she owned her own salon at the time. So she used to braid my hair, and just being up in there and just hearing everybody, just their conversation and just like, you know, the way that they was presenting themselves is just always an uplift, you know. And I was like, man, this is dope. It's a dope feeling. And so it wasn't until, honestly, I got locked up when I was 17 or 18. It's been so long. But I was in there and I picked the clippers back up. And when I got out, it's crazy because I wrote my grandmother a letter, and I don't even remember. But when I got out, she showed me the letter. She was just like, it said basically, I'm going to become a barber. I'm going to own my own barbershop.
Wow. So then you were like, look, I got to do this.
I got to do this. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I will say this, you know, kudos to you.
Thank you.
I get the opportunity because I have two sons.
Okay.
I get the opportunity to talk to barbers. And I will say that it is, you know, for a minute there was almost like a dying art form. We need these hubs. We need spaces like your shop to be thriving places because, you know, there's nothing like seeing my sons shining face and smiling face when
Yeah.
they get out of that chair.
It definitely
It's
is a
something,
feeling.
yeah, it's something that is like handed down, and it's a whole experience. You know, they get to talk to, like you said, talk to their barbers, share things, resources. And so you were just telling me a little bit about not only you as a barber, but also bringing in some of this financial knowledge and education to the people that you're working with in the shop and others that are clients. Tell us about how you were like, you know what, I need to be thinking about this generational wealth and how we bring that into this cultural environment at the shop.
So it happened again during COVID. You know, I kind of had a time to sit back and be like, you know, what's going to happen now? Everything is shut down. I don't know how long we're going to be shut down for. You know, it's time for me to start figuring out something else. So I got in contact with my boy Jeff. You know, I was just checking around with a lot of local barbers, and he was just like, hey, Quise, you know, I want to introduce you what I'm doing. He was like, financial services. I was like, financial services? So good thing, you know, thank God for Zoom. You know, we was able to set up a Zoom meeting, and he started educating me on what it is to set up a 401k properly, to show you the rate of return, the Rule 72, and how to invest and create that generational wealth. Because, you know, COVID was here, and it was just like, okay, me doing these house calls, I'm still putting myself at risk too. So it's just like, if something was to happen to me, what do I have to leave my children behind? And so that opened my eyes to a lot more. And I was able to, you know, get into that field as well. So I'm doing that right now. And it's been a beautiful thing, helping families, because at the end of the day, us as Black men and women, our upbringing, we're not taught that. We're taught to just go to work, retire when we're 65, and then just sit around. But I wanted to stop that. So now I'm here helping folks get their what they need to be in their future, so that way when they're old, you know, 30, 40, 60, whenever they plan on retiring, you know, they're not having to go get that other job working at Walmart being a door greeter, you know?
Yeah. It's so important. I mean, kudos to you. I spent some time in that kind of capacity myself before I really like hit the ground running with community work. But I understand the need for us to identify ourselves as, how do we get to the investor level, right? The Rule of 72 is huge. For those who don't know, look this up. It's a huge rule in the financial world. But also, we talk about insurance often, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And insurance is one of those metrics that has really created generational wealth.
Yes,
it's like
ma'am.
Insurance and real estate are two things that have been so such huge markers in terms of generational wealth in our country. And of course, we understand that some families got a leg up because of 400 years of free labor. Let's not forget that. But also the fact that this knowledge needs to be coming into our communities. I commend you for understanding that there's a need there, and that you can bring it into such a cultural hub that's trusted like your shop. You know what? I gotta give you time for folks. If they want to connect with you, if they're like, hey, I need a barber in Tacoma, you can look right there in that camera right there and let them know how they can find you.
First off, y'all more than welcome to contact me personally, 206-742-6633. Again, 206-742-6633. You can find me on Facebook at Marquise the Barber Willis, and you can find me on Instagram at Quise the Barber, and you can find me on Snapchat. I really don't be much on there. I just show off my work sometimes, but Quise the Barber. I'm not hard to find. I'm downtown Tacoma, 13th and Fawcett. More than welcome to get your hair cut. You're more than welcome to get this financial, you know, education I'm gonna drop on your head, you know. And man, I'm living in Tacoma now too, but yeah, I'm out there in Tacoma.
There it is. There it is. We need to be reaching out more. And I just want to really thank you personally for sharing your story around COVID and the hesitancy. It's important that we actually uplift it. We've been talking about it here on the Morning Update show and at Converge Media for a long time, that we have to have space and grace for our community members who are still hesitant. We understand it because we really have been critical of a lot of information that comes through major media and news channels, because oftentimes it's not the full full 100%
Exactly.
truth. So I understand why people have been hesitant. And I just thank you for sharing your story so that hereforuswa.org could have some real authentic stories to really carry that message forward. Thank you so much.
No, again, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You guys, what a great day today has been. I get to close out the show after this short break, but I want to send a special thank you to Quise the barber. Look, when I'm always telling you guys to see yourself as a part of the solution, I really appreciate the guests that we get to bring onto this show because they give you guys a real stark example of what I mean when I say that every show. Stay tuned after this short break, you guys. We're going to close it out. After this, you're watching the Morning Update Show.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Trey Holiday. I'm right here at the Paramount Theater. You know what else is coming here? Alvin Ailey. You guys can go ahead and go to stgpresents.org to get your tickets or ticketmaster.com. They're going to be here on the 26th and 27th of this month. And let me tell you, they're going to be rocking the house out. It's an amazing family-friendly show. So bring your loved ones, bring your family, bring your neighbors. Tell everybody. Alvin Ailey's only here for 2 days. Let's show up and show out Seattle so that they know that we love them here. Get your tickets today. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. What an amazing show today. Got to give a huge thank you to our guest today. Of course, Julia Jessie, my good sis, holding it down in D.C., but also giving us a little bit of the scoop on what they're going to be diving into tonight on Clapback Culture at 7 p.m. Make sure you guys tune in so that you guys can hear even more of a thorough discussion on this Thorough Thursday around Ketanji Brown Jackson. And it's such a story of our history here in America. I love the fact that there's a lot of joy that Cory Booker injected into this process, as we were just witnessing there in the clip earlier about this kind of back and forth and berating of her. But you know what? All smiles my way, because I'm really excited at the opportunity to always increase our diversity levels in this country. I think what we have an opportunity to do is allow all of our levels of not just government and, the civic process, but everything to really reflect the diversity that has made this country one of those places that are so reflective of the world. It's because people come here, to bring their brilliance here. And so shout out to Jules for diving into that discussion with me earlier. And also shout out to Willis, Marquise Willis, barber out there in Tacoma, doing great things, not just in terms of sharing his story for the hesitancy he felt with COVID and the vaccine, but also I love talking to barbers and stylists. I tell you, because they're hubs in Black community, and they're so necessary. We need those spaces where young people can sweep up hair after school and get a little bit of game from some of the older cats in the building. So shout out to Quise for sharing his story, and also having a great cultural hub out there in Tacoma and providing some financial advocacy and resources for folks. We know that there's a huge wealth gap and wealth divide when we talk about racial wealth divides, it's real. We experience that here in Washington State at a stark, strong level. So we need more of that in our world. Of course, you guys, we want to remind you guys that Alvin Ailey tickets are still on sale. You guys, they're coming here on the 26th and 27th. I get to be there on Sunday. Looking forward to the show, and I keep hearing great things about it. I'm telling you guys, go check that out. Make sure you guys get your tickets. And as I said in the commercial there, we got to show up and show out when we get amazing shows here, because that's what keeps them coming. We can't keep saying there's nothing to do in Seattle. Seattle is born. We can't do that when we have these amazing shows coming to our forefront. We got to show up and show out for them. So make sure you go and cop your tickets today. Also, we have Hamilton pre-sale tickets going on. So if you guys are looking to get your Hamilton tickets and make sure that you guys are getting your seats when Hamilton comes here, we do have some months, but trust and believe, now that is a hot, world-renowned show. And of course, we got the password is Converge. Converge. Make sure you guys go ahead and get your pre-sale tickets today for Hamilton. As I said, we got Clapback Culture tonight at 7 p.m. We also got the Factors tonight at 9 p.m. We're giving you guys some amazing programming, right, Summer? I mean, amazing programming here. So check us out tonight. Again, 7 and 9 p.m. Clapback in the Factors TV. Shout out to the Twins and their shout out there. You guys just saw that as we give Jamal Crawford his flowers now. It's so important that we do that. And honestly, the Twins are such a par and parcel, as Omari always says, of the community that, they couldn't let their episode go by without giving that love to Jamal Crawford. So tune in to the Factors TV tonight at 9 p.m. so you guys can hear all the other things that they talked about. And then I get the beauty and the pleasure tomorrow of talking to my girl T-Dub, art queen, right here at Converge. We're going to be diving into all things art and, of course, art of the matter. And we also have it's a real takeover tomorrow. Outside of T-Dub, we got 3 amazing folks coming from the ATS school over there, formerly South Lake High School, but ATS school right now. They're doing some amazing work. We got our guy, oh my gosh, Dr. Joe is going to be in the building. Dr. Joe Powell, the principal over there. And then a good friend of our community right here, Anthony Tackett, creative community. He's been doing videography work for many, many years. And the legendary Steve Sneed. We just got his information that he is confirmed for tomorrow. So we don't have his graphic, but trust and believe he will be in the building. I get to talk to these guys about the work they're doing over there at ATS school. It's a phenomenal programs they have over there. So I can't wait to dive in with them. So it's a whole ATS takeover. They gave me a sweatshirt and everything. I'll be wearing it tomorrow to rep hard for y'all. So you guys, I look forward to being with you tomorrow for Feel Good Friday. And I get to put my phone down so I can make sure I do my things right here. For me, always see yourself as a part of the solution, as our guests have today. Jules is always doing that, not only from her actual day job in DC, but being there to be on Clapback and give her perspective on all these hot topics. Marquise Willis, Keith the barber, was also showing you guys a little bit more about how he's seeing himself as a part of the solution, not just by having a cultural hub in Tacoma with his barbershop, but also now disseminating financial information as a financial advisor to families and bringing that into the Black community is so necessary. So you guys, be inspired, see yourself as a part of the solution. And of course, as Omari would say, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. Until tomorrow for Feel Good Friday at 11 a.m. Peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make a deal. Now you can feel it's real, but I feel naked in my new clothes. 'Cause I got used to hiding the holes. This old world got new tricks and I'm in the thick of it. This I swear I'm already sick of it. At least I found the antidote. Oh. I know no one is a shadow. 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 No one is a shadow. But I feel naked in my new clothes. 'Cause I got used to hiding the